What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Jim Slasher CJ3 back at it again. Could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Without any further news, let's get right into it. What makes a successful quarterback a successful quarterback? Well, there's plenty of things. Obviously, we know the main things is that quarterback's physical talents, their arm strength, their accuracy, the way to read the defense, to command the huddle, audible when they need to, think on the fly. All those things in terms of what the quarterback themselves is important, and what makes them a top tier quarterback or less than top tier quarterback, right? But that's half of it. And a lot of people don't realize the back end of what also makes a successful quarterback a successful quarterback. And I've talked to people, just in passing, and talked to friends and family on this. And I've always went through this progression after the years of playing football, watching it, participating in it, training in it, coaching in it. I'm all intrigued and interlocked in football, in each position. And when you look at the professional level, and if you have a favorite team or your all-time five, your top five quarterbacks or your current top five, top 10 quarterbacks, they will check all the boxes in what I'm saying. Look at the back end and you can see a successful quarterback. You can make an argument and say, well, I think Josh Allen was going to be successful no matter where he went, or Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes or, Lamar Jackson. Maybe not, right? It all depends on how much belief they have in them, in that quarterback, in them, in their strengths, in everything that they do. So, for example, like I'm bringing up Shedeur Sanders. We've seen videos where it's clear that his head coach does not believe in him as much as he needs to be as a starting quarterback. Remember, they had Dylan Gabriel, they had Flacco, they had other, and they still got Deshaun Watson there, and they pick him with the fifth round. There's some rumblings in the back scenes in the front office, where there was some disagreement in terms of who the head coach wanted and who the GM and the owner wanted. When you, as a successful quarterback, there's an alignment that has to happen. That alignment is important for the success of that quarterback. The quarterback position, as we all know in the NFL, that's the creme de la creme. That's the top of the top. They are the CEO on the field, right? They get all the top pay. They get the front parking spot next to the head coaches and the GMs, and they get all the endorsements. They get the quarterback. They get the commercials. They get all the praise when they're doing good, and they get all the praise when they're doing bad, right? With great power comes great responsibility. However, I'll also add into that comes great support. That quarterback it's imperative that they have optimum support from the whole lineup, from the coaching staff lineup. That success is aligned like this. I've checked this just about every elite quarterback. It seems like this alignment happens. It goes similar to this. Once you have your quarterback, right? You have your quarterback. Behind that quarterback, the first support is his position coach, the quarterback's coach. Typically, the quarterback coach tends to be the offensive coordinator as well, or some combination of that. Receiver, coach is also the quarterback's coach, who's happened to be the offensive coordinator. Is usually one of that, but let's just say the position coach it's the quarterback's coach. That's the first one that believes in that that starting quarterback. The second one is the offensive coordinator. If he's not the quarterback's coach, the offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator has to believe in that starting quarterback. They have to believe and tailor that playbook with that quarterback. You just can't always enter any quarterback in to that playbook, because they got different qualities, different strengths, different weaknesses, right? The third is the head coach. Head coach has to believe in the offensive coordinator, which also believes in the quarterback's coach, would believe in that starting quarterback. That has to align. Beyond that, further than that, the GM. The GM, who you would hope that drafted that quarterback, which also hopefully hired that head coach, which ultimately that head coach and that GM potentially hired that offensive coordinator, who then hired that quarterback's coach. You see the alignment starting to that's forming. Ultimately, after the GM, guess what? The owner. The owner's writing everybody's check. So he has to be, or she has to be, bought in on the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, and the quarterback that's been drafted, or let's just say, for the sake of argument, been traded. But for this case, drafting this quarterback, and now they're in the starting position. Now you bring in Shedeur Sanders. The question that I ask for everyone, like I talk about, and like you should start looking at when you look at these elite quarterbacks, is everyone in line to support Shedeur Sanders? That's the question. What makes a successful quarterback? I will retort on: does everybody believe in him? Does the owner believe in him? Do the GM believe in him? Do the offensive coordinator believe in him? Do the position coach believe in him? If all of those are lined up, it's very difficult for that quarterback not to be successful. I'm not saying they should be winning all MVPs and all championships for every single year, but you can see more often than not the maturation of how good that quarterback is in terms of that next tier, upper echelon of successful quarterbacks, that top 10, top 12 quarterbacks. Right now in the league, you can look at who you would consider your top 5 and your top 10 and ask yourself, do that align correctly? Like what Jim Slasher, what CJ was saying? Like, is everybody in line of who's the starting quarterback? Is the playbook designed for him? Is everything in line? That quarterback, it's important, and it may seem a lot, but when you go out there as a starting quarterback for the NFL, you're going against 5 stars all over the place, right? Fast defenses. You got fast receivers, you got running backs. Everything should be tailored around you. But the most important thing which you want on that quarterback, because you're giving them all this responsibility, is a carefree mind. They don't want to overthink in terms of, they got enough to think about in terms of the play, in terms of the coverages, in terms of keeping everybody in line. They got enough. And then when you add in a variable of 1 or 2 or 3 of those positions that are not in support of you, it's going to be a problem, because now that quarterback knows, because it's pretty easy to find out when 1 or 2 or 3 of them are not in lockstep of who's under center. And so now you can get pulled, you could be traded, you could be cut, you could be benched. Every time you're out there, the pressure is on you, an unnecessary pressure. But the reason why you have that is because like they know, they're not all in believing you. They don't believe in you. They're not all in lockstep with you. You can look at it from, I can give you examples currently right now. What happened with Russell Wilson in the New York Giants, right? He already knew that he was on borrowed time when Russell Wilson came into the starting, and they had Coach Dabble, and he got fired eventually. But he already knew he was on borrowed time when he came in, because guess what? They drafted a stud, quarterback, young, hot gun quarterback, just like a Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart. The GM and them, they wanted him to come in immediately. The head coach wanted to just kind of ease into it. Russell Wilson standing there going, I'm right in front of you guys. How about you tailor this and all, So Russell has to press. Guess what? What happened? They start losing and missing plays, missing balls and all that. He knows what's happening. He knows what's about to come up. You about to get benched. But if everyone was in lockstep with Russell Wilson and everybody's going, Russell Wilson is our quarterback starting now to the end of the season, unless he gets injured or hurt. That's it. Jackson Dart, we're going to see him next year, but we're going to go with Russell Wilson this year, and we're all locked up. The playbook is designed on him. Blah blah blah. Would there have been a different outcome? Would he win more games? Would he not be worried about being pressed and stuff? It's a great question to have. I think that he would have played a little bit better knowing that he doesn't have to worry about the young gun ready to take his job in the middle of the season. But it was so loud and so prevalent that you were on borrowed time. It was only inevitable that he was going to press and make bad plays and be angst, right? And then you throw Jackson Dart in there, where everyone now seems to be in lockstep with Jackson Dart. Coach Dabble was a little bit more hesitant, but they were all in lockstep in drafting him. And then you see Jackson Dart and how he was playing. Confidence, throwing, making mistakes, making good plays, doing this and that. And the team is galvanized around him. The fans are galvanized around him. So he already walks in knowing that he's got the support, and you can see the confidence in him. It's hard for him not to have. It's going to be hard for him not to be a success, because that next coach that's going to come in there, you're going to have to love Jackson Dart whether you like it or not. Otherwise, there's going to be a problem. You're going to have an offensive coordinator who's going to also believe in Jackson Dart. You already have the GM who believes in him, and you're going to have the owner that's also believing in him. So he's missing the quarterback's coach, the offensive coordinator, and the next upcoming head coach. And you're going to see whether if he's going to be that next premier quarterback in the league, or he's going to keep having issues. How many quarterbacks you've seen that keep losing offensive coordinators, or keep going through head coaches, or keep changing the GMs? You can see that the lack of success that they have, some up, some down, some up, some down. Sam Darnold is a good example of seeing that, of going through different franchises and trying to make the most of those. And then when he finally gets in where coaches is locked in on him and believing in him, he doesn't have to worry about losing his job. When he was in the Vikings, because the starter got hurt and he was out for this season, he knew he was it. Then he took that, goes to Seattle. Seattle's all locked in on him. You're a quarterback. He ain't thinking about anything else. You don't have to worry about anybody over his back. He's playing football. He's playing great. You look at the Detroit Lions quarterback, and that when he got traded, Goff, and Jared Goff, and he got traded from the Rams and went to Detroit. He went from a team that lost support. McVay didn't believe in him anymore, and you seen what happened. He got traded, right? He went to a franchise in Detroit where the offensive coordinator was locked in on him. Dan Campbell is locked in on him. The GM is locked in on him. The owners are locked in. And now you see that maturation, not having quite the year that he's had in previous years with Detroit, but nonetheless, he's not worried about his job. There's no media conversation and quarterback controversy, and they're looking at the backup or anything. You can see that they're all locked up and locked into him. So it's hard for him. It's hard to see that he's going to sustain this for this rest of the season. I think he's going to pull out of it. But I say all of that to come back to Shedeur Sanders. Ask yourself who's all in line with him, who's not in line with him. And you're going to see where that success or lack thereof is going to take place as he goes and embark on his starting quarterback journey. You have to be locked in on that quarterback. Otherwise, you're going to struggle finding that. That is why the Cleveland Browns have so many hard times. That's why the Oakland Raiders, Vegas Raiders now have such hard time. The Dolphins and these teams that continuously go through this cycle of quarterbacks, look no further than the offensive coordinator, look no further than head coaches. If you're going through that many quarterbacks, look at how many coaches, head coaching jobs they didn't have too. Look at how many draft picks they didn't have, or, first round and all that. It's not just the quarterbacks that they're picking. It's that they're all not in line with the success of that quarterback, with the belief system. That's what gets broken. But you see the success like the Josh Allens, Lamar Jacksons, Patrick Mahomes, right? I was looking at, real quick before I wrap this thing up, I was looking at a mini documentary on Patrick Mahomes, and they were talking about how he was, how he practice on throwing the ball, the weird angles and the weird throws and the jump throws and the push and the shovels and all of this other stuff. And they was asking Patrick Mahomes, like, how did you come up with this? How was you doing this? He goes, well, I was practicing this in practice. I was doing it in practice, and coach liked what I was doing. I talked with my offensive coordinator and you know, and how we can do this instead of this and how this feels and all that. And they're going, yeah, that works. If it works for you, works for me. Yeah, let's try it. That's the belief. When he goes out there on that field and we seeing it for the first time, Andy Reid is not shocked about it because he was saying, yeah, he was doing this in practice and we seen him. He said he was going to do this and we supported him. We believe in him. Patrick Mahomes has his whole brain in terms of imagination. There's nothing that's closing him off because everybody's in line and believes in him, believes in what he's doing. So it's hard not to be a success when you have everyone in full support of you. That goes so far beyond just football. When you have people that support you, it builds and makes your job that much more easier because you don't have to worry about, if I make one mistake, am I going to lose my job or am I going to lose the opportunities I have and all that. So with all that being said, I root for Shedeur. I root for that alignment. I think that if he gets that, we can see the best of him, which like any other quarterback that's elite can have. And I want to see how that works out. So with that being said, who are you? Appreciate you. Thank you. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and wait for more content. Peace.